Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a simple truth. We are living in the biggest financial lie in human history. Most people don't see it because they're not supposed to see it. Every time a government prints money, the poor get poorer, the middle class gets squeezed, and the wealthy quietly convert their paper money into real money, gold and silver. And today I want to warn you about something that's coming, something most people are not ready for. A potential repricing of silver, so extreme that 7 an ounce won't look crazy. It will look conservative. You might laugh now, but people laughed at 2,000 gold. They laughed at 50 silver. People always laugh until the system breaks. The US dollar is dying slowly, and precious metals are not investments. They are insurance against financial stupidity. Most people don't understand this. And honestly, they're not supposed to. The system is designed to keep people obedient, dependent, and financially blind. When you spend your life working for a currency that loses value every single day, you become a slave to a paycheck that buys you less tomorrow than it does today. That's not wealth. That's a trap. People ask, why buy gold? Why buy silver? And I always smile because the real question is why trust a currency backed by nothing but debt? The dollar used to be tied to gold. It used to represent something real, something honest. But the moment governments figured out they could print money without consequences, well, that was the moment your savings, your retirement, your purchasing power all began to bleed slowly. Not enough for you to notice instantly, but enough that over decades, everything you own becomes more expensive while your money buys less. Precious metals are not about getting rich fast. They are about not getting poor slowly. When I say gold and silver are insurance, I mean exactly that. Protection from a financial system run by people who believe debt is wealth and printing money is a solution to every crisis. Every time the government hits the printer button, it steals from you without asking permission. Taxation is obvious theft. Inflation is hidden theft. People think the rich buy metals because they're predicting some major crisis. No, they buy metals because they understand history. Every fiat currency has collapsed. Not a few, all of them. And the dollar is not immune. When a government spends more than it earns, borrows more than it can pay back, and prints more than the economy can absorb, the end result is always the same: currency destruction. You see, gold and silver are not investments in the traditional sense. They don't pay dividends, they don't generate cash flow. But they do something much more important. They preserve purchasing power when everything else falls apart. When the stock market crashes, when banks fail, when governments default, when currencies collapse, gold and silver don't panic. They don't beg for bailouts, they don't go bankrupt. They simply sit there as they have for thousands of years, calmly exposing the truth that paper money tries to hide. The average person thinks saving dollars makes them responsible. But saving dollars is like saving ice cubes in the sun. No matter how hard you try, they melt. And the tragic part is people blame themselves. They think they need to work harder or save more. When the real problem is the currency itself, you cannot win a game when the rules are designed to make you lose. Gold and silver give you a way out of the game. They allow you to step outside the system and hold something that governments can't print. Banks can't freeze and inflation can't destroy. When you own metals, you're not hoping for the system to collapse. You're preparing for the day the system can no longer hide its own weakness. The dollar is dying slowly, not dramatically, not overnight, slowly, silently, consistently. And while most people will wake up too late, a small percentage will protect themselves long before the crisis becomes obvious. That's the power of gold. That's the power of silver. Not as investments, as insurance. Insurance against financial ignorance, government recklessness, and the guaranteed stupidity of those who believe you can print wealth out of thin air. Don's 7,000 silver is not a prediction. It's a reflection of how fast governments are destroying purchasing power. Most people don't see it yet because they are too busy chasing paychecks, paying bills, and hoping the system will take care of them. But the truth is, the system isn't taking care of anyone except the people who understand it and act before it's too late. Every time a government prints money, every time they run deficits, every time they bail out the banks while ordinary people suffer, they are stealing your future purchasing power, and the numbers don't lie. The more money they print, the less each dollar is worth. That's not theory, that's math. That's reality. The problem is most people look at silver and gold as investments. They think maybe it will go up in value, maybe it won't. That's the wrong way to think about it. Silver at 7,000 Zen isn't about speculation. It's about truth. It's the price at which reality will finally be undeniable. It's the price at which the destruction of paper money becomes obvious to everyone, including those who refuse to see it now. And it will come not because someone decided it should, but because the underlying economic fundamentals, the debt, the deficits, the unbacked currency demanded. Think about what the government has done over the last few decades. Trillions of dollars in debt, trillions more in promises that can't be kept. The money supply expands faster than the economy can grow. Inflation creeps in quietly at first, then accelerates, stealing value from those who don't understand what's happening, and the average person working for dollars that lose value every year doesn't even notice until it's too late. By then, the metal in your hand or in your safe has multiplied your wealth, while your paper money has become less than it was yesterday. Silver is particularly dangerous for those who ignore it. Dangerous in the sense that if you don't understand it, you'll watch your purchasing power erode and blame yourself for not saving enough. But for those who understand it, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. Silver is money, not just any money, but real money that governments can't print, banks can't manipulate, and inflation can't destroy. The system finally recognizes the truth. Silver will reflect the real cost of living, the real value of wealth, and the real failure of currencies that promise stability while delivering chaos. The 7,000 figure isn't arbitrary. It's a mirror showing how far the currency has fallen, how quickly the system is moving toward collapse, and how desperately people will need something real to hold on to. People will panic, markets will react, fear will drive demand. But the truth is already there. It's in the numbers, in the debt, in the deficit, and in the printing presses that never stop. Silver doesn't go up on speculation. It goes up because reality is unavoidable. Owning silver now isn't about timing the market. It's about timing your preparation. It's about seeing the truth while others are asleep. Governments are destroying purchasing power with each passing day. And those who do not protect themselves with real money, with silver, are essentially choosing to participate in their own wealth destruction. History has shown this over and over. Currencies fail, metals endure, and wealth transfers to those who prepare. 7,000 silver is a warning, a lesson, and an opportunity all at once. It's not a dream, it's not hype, it's the reflection of a system that refuses to live within its means. A system that prints and borrows without consequences. A system that is heading toward a reset. Those who understand this will act. Those who ignore it will wake up too late, holding dollars that buy less than they thought, watching as the world's financial reality finally catches up. The rich are quietly accumulating real assets while the middle class stays trapped in paper promises. Most people don't even notice it happening because they are busy living paycheck to paycheck, paying bills, and thinking that working harder will somehow secure their financial future. The reality is that the system is rigged, and it's rigged in favor of those who understand it, who see it for what it is, and who take action before the rest of the world catches on. The rich are not relying on jobs, not relying on pensions, not relying on paper money. They are acquiring real assets, things that hold value that cannot be printed devalued or manipulated by governments. A real asset is not just a house or a car. It's something that produces value, something that stores value, something that cannot be taken away from you by inflation or poor policy decisions. Gold, silver, real estate, businesses, commodities, these are the things the wealthy quietly accumulate while the middle class blindly trusts in promises written on paper. Retirement accounts, bonds, savings accounts, insurance policies, All of these are essentially contracts that rely on the solvency and honesty of institutions that have already proven that they can fail. Yet, the middle class continues to pour their money into them thinking they are secure, while the middle class works longer hours, takes on more debt, and hopes that the government and the system will protect them. The rich are taking advantage of every crisis, every downturn, every period of volatility to quietly acquire assets at a fraction of their true value. When the stock market crashes, they buy companies. When real estate prices fall, they buy property. When currencies are devalued, they buy precious metals. And when everyone else panics, they are calm and deliberate and prepared. They are playing a long-term game that the middle class does not even understand exists. Most people are trapped in a mindset built on false security. They think that because their paycheck arrives on time, because their taxes are deducted automatically, because their retirement plan is funded, they are safe. But safety in a world of money printing, debt accumulation, and financial manipulation is an illusion. Your paycheck is shrinking in value every day, whether you notice it or not. Your savings account is losing purchasing power quietly, steadily, and yet the middle class continues to chase short-term comfort while ignoring the long-term reality. The rich understand the rules of the system. They understand that money is not wealth. Wealth is what money can buy and what holds value when money fails. They understand that financial education and preparation are far more important than working longer hours or saving more dollars. They understand that paper promises can disappear overnight, but real assets endure. They also understand timing and psychology. They know that when fear spreads among the masses, prices drop. They know that fear is an opportunity. And while the middle class panics, sells, and loses, the rich buy, acquire, and grow. The accumulation of real assets is not flashy. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't get Instagram likes. It's quiet, deliberate, and sometimes invisible. But it is powerful. It builds true financial freedom. It creates a buffer against systemic collapse. It allows someone to navigate uncertainty with confidence. Meanwhile, the middle class, trapped in paper promises, is vulnerable to inflation, currency devaluation, economic recessions, and market manipulations. They are at the mercy of forces they don't understand and have no control over. History repeats itself. Every economic cycle, every currency collapse, every market crash demonstrates the same pattern. Those who hold real assets survive and thrive. Those who hold promises and paper wealth are destroyed. Yet most people ignore these lessons. They continue to live paycheck to save in dollars, to trust in the system. While quietly, systematically, the wealthy accumulate assets that will continue to grow in value regardless of what happens to the world's currencies. The lesson is clear. Real wealth comes from understanding the difference between paper promises and real assets, from acting while others are asleep, and from preparing for the inevitable failures of the system. The rich are not lucky. They are educated, disciplined, and proactive. The middle class, by contrast, remains trapped in a cycle of financial dependency and blind trust, slowly losing value every day. Real wealth is quiet, deliberate, and immune to the illusions that ensnare the masses. Gold protects wealth. Silver multiplies it. Most people don't understand this simple truth because they've been trained to think in terms of paper money, stocks, and promises that may or may not be honored. Gold is the ultimate hedge against financial stupidity. It preserves value when currencies fail, when inflation destroys purchasing power, when governments print money as if it grows on trees. But silver is different. Silver isn't just a store of value. Silver is a weapon for wealth creation. It is the poor man's gold, a way for ordinary people to access extraordinary opportunity. And its upside is far greater than gold because it is smaller, scarcer in the hands of the public, and in higher demand across industry, technology, and finance. Gold has been money for thousands of years. It is stable, reliable, and respected around the world. It is the ultimate insurance policy against financial collapse. If your portfolio is heavy in gold, you sleep better at night knowing that even if the system fails, you have preserved purchasing power. Gold is conservative. It protects, but silver is aggressive. Silver multiplies. When the system shifts, when currencies weaken, when markets panic, silver rises faster and more dramatically. Why? Because there is less of it. It is more volatile and has far more industrial uses than gold. Think about it. Every solar panel, every electric vehicle, every smartphone, every medical device, every piece of industrial equipment requires silver. Demand is constant and growing. Supply is limited. Mines are not producing enough to meet future needs. Governments and corporations know this. Smart investors know this. And yet, the average person doesn't even realize it. They see silver as just shiny metal or cheap gold, when in reality, silver is a wealth amplifier. The advantage of silver over gold is leverage. You don't need a fortune to own silver. A small investment in silver can multiply your wealth faster than the same amount invested in gold, stocks, or real estate if timed correctly. Gold is like a fortress. It holds value. Silver is like a missile. It can deliver explosive gains. When the system finally reprices reality, when fear spreads, money loses value. When currencies collapse, silver reacts faster and more aggressively than gold. That's why it is the poor man's gold, because ordinary people who can't buy thousands of dollars of gold can accumulate silver. And when the system corrects, their small investment can become a fortune. The lesson most people fail to grasp is the difference between protection and multiplication. Gold is protection. It saves you from losing everything. Silver is multiplication. It gives you the chance to grow your wealth exponentially while others are panicking. The combination is powerful. Hold gold for safety. Hold silver for opportunity. Do not ignore silver just because it is volatile or misunderstood. That volatility is precisely what creates extraordinary upside. The rich understand this. That's why they quietly accumulate both. They use gold to anchor their wealth and silver to accelerate it. They don't buy because the price might go up next week. They buy because history, mathematics, and human behavior guarantee that silver will outperform paper money when the system fails. When governments print, when debt explodes, inflation accelerates, silver reprices reality faster than any other asset. This is why anyone serious about financial security must understand both metals. Gold gives you confidence, stability, and peace of mind. Silver gives you opportunity, leverage, and explosive potential. Ignoring either one is foolish. Ignoring silver is especially dangerous because it is a bridge from being merely protected to being financially free. Silver is your chance to turn preparation into wealth. In the end, gold and silver work together like armor and ammunition. Gold protects what you already have. Silver multiplies what you can achieve. One shields your wealth, the other empowers it. And when the financial system finally catches up to its own recklessness, the value of both will rise. But the explosive power of silver will leave those who recognized its potential far ahead of the masses who ignored it. Crisis creates opportunity. When markets panic, metals don't rise, currencies collapse. That's when silver reprices the truth. Most people get this backward. They look at the price of silver or gold and think the metals themselves are moving. They think silver is up, gold is down, the market is volatile. The reality is far deeper. Metals don't rise because they want to. Metals rise because money falls. The system is breaking down quietly every day. And the value of paper currency is what's collapsing. When the illusion of stability ends, silver becomes the mirror that shows the truth. How much money has really been destroyed? Look at history. Every major economic crisis has the same pattern. Banks fail. Governments print more money. Debt explodes. People panic. Stock markets tumble. And through all of it, silver and gold quietly reveal reality. Their rise is not speculation. It is a reflection of lost trust and paper promises of the erosion of purchasing power and of the inevitable rate pricing of value. People get it backward because they are trained to look at numbers on a screen rather than understand the fundamentals of money. Numbers don't lie. Currency does. Silver is unique in this. Gold preserves value, but silver exposes the system. Its smaller market industrial demand and scarcity make it highly sensitive to shifts in confidence, supply, and money supply. When people panic, they turn to metals. But the price of silver reacts with far more intensity than gold. Why? Because silver is money in motion. Silver is the truth in physical form. It doesn't care about governments, interest rates, or stock market manipulation. It simply reflects reality. And when currencies collapse, that reflection becomes undeniable. Crisis is the most misunderstood concept in finance. People fear it. They run from it. They hope it will pass. But for those who understand money, crisis is the ultimate opportunity. It is the moment when the system overreacts, when fear spreads faster than reason, and when the unprepared lose everything. During a crisis, the middle class clings to paper assets. Hoping for stability, the wealthy quietly acquire real assets at discounted prices. Silver, in particular, becomes the spotlight of truth. It doesn't rise for fun. It rises because people suddenly realize that money has less and less value with each passing day. Most investors are trapped in the illusion that markets dictate value. They watch charts, follow trends, listen to experts. But during a crisis, charts become irrelevant, trends collapse, and expert opinions are meaningless. What matters is the underlying reality of money, debt, and scarcity. Silver reprices that reality faster than any other asset. It exposes how much paper wealth is worth and how much is lost to inflation, mismanagement, and bad policy. It turns fear into clarity, panic into education, and opportunity in action. Owning silver is not about timing the next spike in price. It is about preparing for the inevitable collapse of trust in currencies. When a crisis hits, the world doesn't need silver to rise. It needs currencies to fall. Silver simply reveals the truth. It becomes a bridge between ignorance and understanding, between risk and security, between fear and financial empowerment. Those who recognize this early have the chance to convert a crisis into unprecedented opportunity. The lesson is simple. Do not fear crisis. Do not wait for the market to recover. Do not rely on the illusion of stability. Silver will show you where value truly lies. Currencies are fragile. Governments are fallible and systems are designed to fail eventually. Metals, especially silver, endure. They represent truth. They expose reality. They provide clarity. When the world is blinded by panic, crisis is not the enemy, ignorance is. Silver is not speculation. It is revelation. When markets collapse and fear spreads, the value of paper disappears. But silver illuminates the truth. Those who understand this will not only survive, they will thrive. Crisis creates opportunity, and silver is the compass pointing directly